Stacy, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, good. Okay.
I
Trying out
can
some
hear
new
you. I can
earbuds.
hear you.
Good to know. Got the wireless ones, so, you know, trying them out.
You'll get used to them in a hurry.
Steve, I think the answer to your question is the football game.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, that's okay. Jill can teach us how to do proper mechanics. Always use a refresher course. Did I hear that she said she had her first scrimmage yesterday?
I don't
I
know.
thought that's what she said.
Where?
I don't know. I thought I heard her said that the other night, that she had a scrimmage coming up like the next day. But
Yeah, I know Leslie has one coming up at UW. So I'm gonna quit hanging out with her while she's getting all infected.
well, she'll be tested about 18 ways to Sunday, so.
That's true, but the reason why I'm not reffing is because I don't have contact with all those kids, so, yeah.
Yep.
Woo, we have one.
They keep on pushing the season out long enough. Who knows? It might be worth it. You know, it's like March. I'm like, I worry about it in March. I'll tell you in March.
Wow.
I was giving some strong consideration to telling John and Leslie that I wanted to be a JV referee going forward. You know, kind of get into give back time and just like you guys do it, and you know, just go train JV referees instead.
Yeah, you know, I was talking with Mary Roper and a couple weeks ago, and she said she's thinking about offering to ref just low-level games, you know, middle school and whatever.
Yeah, I may do that. And it's like, okay, I've been doing it long enough at this point, and it's like time for the new blood to take over.
Hey Zane,
The
how's
new
it
blood
going?
doesn't want to do it.
What's that?
What if the new blood doesn't want to do it?
You're it, girl. You are the new blood.
Where's our presenter? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, exactly. She's watching a football game too. Oops. I'll have to ad lib.
Exactly. We're up to 4.
Packing them in.
Backing them in.
You just tell Jill it's because she's presenting instead of me.
You had a full house.
Exactly. That's it. She
There,
shows.
there she is.
Who's
I thought
meeting?
it was gonna be a no-show.
Who's scheduling meetings during the Seahawks game?
Yeah, we've had that conversation. We wanted to keep your crowd level down, not have too many breakout rooms.
I was just gonna say, no one's gonna come.
Oh, we got a 5 or 6. They're lost.
Well, yeah, maybe I have a prize.
Maybe they just
So,
want to
hey-
hear Steve more than you.
That's also true. Might be good for them.
Hey, Jill, did I hear you right that you had a scrimmage yesterday?
I did.
Where were you? Where were you?
Northwest University.
Wow.
Yep.
That's the
Yeah.
site of my very first college scrimmage.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
You know,
That's it.
isn't that? It was nice. It's a short court, so you know, but still got to blow the whistle.
It was the year that they had all the rule changes going down in the fourth quarter, able to advance the ball and all that sort of stuff. We ran four fourth quarters, fourth
Wow.
periods to allow people to practice.
Wow. Yeah, we got our temperatures taken. We got all the questions asked, and the benches were staggered, and everyone had masks on. And then when they came on the court, they took them off, and coaches all had masks on. And
Do the
Yeah.
coaches have to wear masks?
yeah, they wore it
They
the
do?
whole time.
No, but are they being required in that conference to wear masks? Because supposedly, like, Division I is not, for the
Yeah,
most part.
yeah. I don't know if the NAIA came out and said they have to, but I think that coaches are. I don't know if it's going to be a mandate, but I think it's smart. But I don't know. It was an inter squad practice, so I'm sure they're going to take all the safety precautions, you
Yeah,
know, they need
right.
to.
Yeah. How'd you feel
Hey,
out there?
were you
Were you
masked?
were you comfortable?
You know, I forgot what floor I was on and thought I was on a high school floor and got mixed up on the 3-point line.
Never done that before.
I'm like telling Lee, I'm like, yeah, we got to review that. I'm pretty sure that was a 2-pointer. Let's review that. And he was like, Jill, look at the lines. And I was like, yeah, my bad. You're right. But I said the most thing that was out of shape was my jaw with the whistle bag. Like I felt like I just was clamping down on my whistle so hard. So
Yeah.
anyways,
That actually, I think, is one of the dumbest things, the whistle bag. You've got like 12 people, 13 people running up and down the floor, breathing heavily, and they're worried about what's coming out of your whistle. Like, I don't get it.
yeah, we don't know. We they tried the electronic whistles, the little one I couldn't even hear. They did it twice, and then Lander tried like the bigger Fox 40 whistle that had like 3 tones, and it was a little bit better, but it's still pretty hard to hear.
So I think somebody on Slack had a recommendation for an electronic whistle that you get on Amazon that was supposed to be louder than the Fox 40.
Yeah, I
Um,
saw that. Yeah.
But Lord knows I haven't invested in it.
The only thing about them that's hard is that so where the sound comes out is wherever you point it. So like for it to be effective and for everyone to hear it, you have to like old school bird dog it because then the sound projects. But if you're just holding it in your hand and standing there and you point it down like in your wrist, it just goes to the floor and then no one can hear it.
Interesting.
So that's what you have to be cognizant about. Anyways, you want to give people a couple more minutes, Stacy?
Well, what time we got?
32.
Yeah, we'll give them another 1 or 2 and then go ahead and start.
Traffic's brutal tonight.
Yeah.
But no, it felt good to be on the court. It was fun.
And you were comfortable being out there in the COVID world.
Yeah, I mean, comfortable as I am going to the grocery store, right? I mean,
People aren't breathing so hard in the grocery store.
Exactly.
I mean, those kids are getting tested. I mean, they're getting their temperature checked every day. I mean, yeah.
It's nice to be your age too.
Hey, Stacy, this
Yes.
is Dan Maloney. I just have a quick question before we get started here. I
Sure.
did the quiz number 1 today, and I was confused by one of the answers that I got back on that. I just want to make sure I
Put your
understood it
video
right.
on.
You're confused.
You need to have your video on.
So you want to talk about the question? Is that what you're saying to me?
Yeah, I just had one question on the quiz. It was question number 8, the 15 feet for the foul line. The question says it's from the middle of the basket. The book said it was from the edge of the backboard. So I answered false, but I got that wrong. What is it? Is it the middle of the basket, or is it the flush with the backboard?
I thought it was the middle of the basket, but I might be wrong, so I'll have to check.
Okay.
God, I hope I didn't. I wrote those quiz questions, and I hope I got that one right.
So, and then as everyone's joining, if y'all could turn on your cameras, because we are going to be needing you guys to have your cameras on, because we are going to practice mechanics. So if you could get to a place where you have your camera on, that would be greatly appreciated. Oh, and then there's all your beautiful faces. There we go. Awesome. Thanks, guys. And I mean, you should participate today. There could or could not be a prize, probably could. So participation is key in winning a nice little gift card at the end. So
Look at you waving gifts and stuff.
well, yeah, I have to have people pay attention to me, unlike Steve. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't want to talk to myself.
Well, yeah, but when you like put some presentation up and you no longer see anybody's face, then you'll know how that feels.
Oh no. All right, well, I'm gonna get started just because, you know, I just want to make sure you guys have a chance to practice your signals with everyone. We're gonna do breakout groups and just kind of go through mechanics. Thanks for joining us on a Thursday, Seahawks Thursday night. I know that is
My
hard.
apologies, it's my fault.
Yeah, not my fault. Definitely Stacy. But no, we appreciate you being here, and we are going to go over signals and mechanics today. So we're gonna, oh, I guess I have to share my screen.
That would help.
If you guys have any questions, feel free. But like I said, we're just going to go through this, and then once we go through this, we're going to break out into some groups and kind of talk about and kind of demonstrate signals and mechanics, since we're doing this a little different COVID style and not in person. So so when we're talking about mechanics and signals, you know, we got your whistle, you got your signals, and you got your voice. It sounds funny, but blowing a whistle can be hard when you're not used to it. And usually when we do this in person, it's actually pretty funny. And when I first started, you're like, it can't be that hard, but there's a little trick to the trade. So it is definitely something you kind of want to practice at home. We're not going to do it on camera today, but just a firm, short blast of the whistle. You don't want anything long. You don't want anything that people can't hear. But just a firm, short blast that everyone can hear. And then I just said, take a deep breath and be calm when we're getting in these situations, because when we get in the heat of the game and plays are happening, you know, we get really excited, especially when we have foul calls and we're just in a hurry to figure out what we have when we start, and then to get it reported to the table. And so I have always had a problem of going too fast. And so just to take a deep breath, I always say when my whistle goes off, I just take a minute to digest what's going on in my head. The game's not going to go on without us. So just take a minute, collect what you have, and then we can have a calm voice and and get the information we need to get. And then loud and clear voice. Sometimes we're blessed with it, sometimes we're not. I'm definitely envious of other people that have like these firm, low voices that can be heard and get the attention of everybody. But it's trying to find a loud and clear voice because we want our partners to understand what we have so they can get in the right positions. But we also want everyone to be able to understand us and what we're saying. But at the same time, we don't want to be screaming. And as you guys move up levels and get different games, you'll understand kind of voice inflection. And it's really important because you are going to have those games where, or plays that have kind of escalated energy, and we need to calm it down. And we might need to have a more firm voice where we don't, maybe we have a good flow of the game and we just can have a calm but a loud, firm voice, but we don't need to be screaming, right? So it's kind of finding that and what works for you and your voice. And as we break out in groups again, everyone will help you and kind of on your voice, but you will find what's going to work for you. And then last but not least, on signals, I always say sharp signals because we have a lot of things in this basketball game we can't control. We can't control the players. We can't control the coaches. We can't control our other players. I mean, our other referees. But what we can control for me is always our signals, having rule knowledge. So I'm all about, if you can control those things, you know, it puts us in a better position to make better calls. And I also believe that, you know, if we have these strong signals and we're coming out strong, you know, coach is going to be like, wow, okay, she knows what she's calling. He knows what he has. But if we have these kind of like lazy mechanics and we're just kind of like, oh, pushed her, pushed him, you know, I mean, I wouldn't believe it. So part of our job while getting the call right is believability. And so having really sharp mechanics really can get you further with coaches, and your other officials. I mean, having confidence, because you are going to work with people you never work with. And for me, as I officiate with levels ahead of me and people, I get nervous. And so it just kind of brings you on a level of like, okay, she knows what she's doing. He knows what he's doing. So it kind of just brings that confidence to your crew as well. So any questions in regards to that? All right. So we're just gonna watch a little video. This is,
They never build these tunnels for tall people. And you can actually
Actually-
feel the rock here is damp. It's telling me that
Stacey, is there sound on that? Or did
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
the tide.
So we're just gonna look at some signals. I'm gonna get up and do some signals in a little bit, but we're gonna start. This is Bob Schofield. If anyone knows, he's a Pac-12 official, really well known. He's done a lot of tournaments and he has a ton of experience. And this is the younger Bob Schofield.
Yeah.
I know. I looked up referee penalties and I ran into this and I was like, oh, I for sure have to share this. So I know Bob. So. Oh, my phone.
This is how you stop the clock.
So we're gonna kind of go over it, but there's 3 fundamentals of when we blow our whistle, and we're gonna be stopping the clock. So anyone have idea of what we're gonna do when we stop the clock? Has anyone gotten the manual yet?
A lot of them.
After we blow the whistle, what's one thing we could be doing? Anyone?
Take a guess.
Stop the clock?
Yep. So we blow our whistle and what would we do next? Anyone have an idea?
I thought you raised your hand.
Okay, there's one. So you raise your hand. So there's 2 differences of what we would do, right? A violation like Bob has here. We have an open hand. And when we have a foul, does anyone know what we have when we have a foul?
Fist.
Fist. Who said that?
Orin.
Oh, perfect, Oren. Yep. So we have a fist. So we're blowing our whistle and we have an open hand like Bob has.
Closed, that means you have a
Or
foul.
the fist is closed, right?
Open hand's a violation. Closed hand is a foul. By raising your hand, you stop the clock.
So
Which to
that's-
me is the first key point, right? Is like, let's raise our hand. One of the things that I always tell first year officials is it took me easily my first year and probably in my second year to have any clue whether my hand was opened or closed after I got it up in the air to stop the clock. And at least if we're getting to the point of stopping the clock, our voice can then tell everybody whether or not we had a foul or a violation. But first things first is get your hand up in the air.
Yep, exactly that. So, and then the third thing would be a
Proper
jump
signal
ball.
for-
And the one thing to know too, you have a rule book, and then Stacy, did you give them the mechanics manual too? The WA?
Yes.
So you will notice some differences because the rule book is NFHS, which is the National Sports Federation, where the WOA, we do have some signals and mechanics that from Washington we are allowed to use, and they're not a federation. And one of them is a jump ball. And maybe correct me if I'm wrong, Stacy, but in high school WA, we can go straight up with a jump ball instead of what Bob's going
jump
to do
ball.
here is, which you still could do, is blow the whistle, open fit or open hand, and then go to a jump ball.
Correct. We can go right straight to the jump ball.
You can go straight to the jump instead of doing a stop, but you still could do this and this if you would like as well.
Up, closing in at the play. Directional signal, hand cupped, pointing the direction. So if a ball goes out of bounds, it's hand up, stop the clock, direction. Every time you point direction, you should also signify the color. So out of bounds, white ball.
So if you see from Bob, he didn't do a finger point. A finger point is not a mechanic. You see it in the NBA, you see it in college, they finger point. But in high school, we have an open hand, you can tuck your thumb. But if you also see, it's very direct that Bob does. It's a snap, it's sharp, and he says white ball, he says the color and where it's going.
Designated spot for throwing. We have our hand up for a travel. Point to the spot where the ball will be thrown in. We have three types of visible counts. We have a 10-second count in the backboard. When we count from our waist to our shoulders. We have a 5-second closely guarded count.
Like Steve said, the closely guarded count is while they're dribbling and they're within 6 feet, or like I think Zoe said, where you pick up the ball and you have a held ball and the defender's
In
close.
the
So we're
front
gonna have that.
court when either held ball or dribbling while closely guarded 6 feet. 5 seconds. When we beckon substitutes on the floor, hands up, we wave them in.
So, and this is a big one when you're bringing in subs, especially in AAU games, because there's a lot going on. As partners, we look at our partner and our hand up is saying, we are not ready. Do not inbound the ball, right? So then we're going to beckon in our subs, come in, and then you're going to look to your partner and be like, okay, and then your hand goes down. But this is really important for communication with our partner, and our partner also needs to be looking to make sure that the official is ready to inbound the ball as well.
And one last thing in that, JQ, is that before you put your arm down, if you're controlling the substitutions, it's your responsibility to make sure there's only 5 and 5 on the floor. Because if you start play with 6 and 5, you're going to have to call a technical foul, but it's really your fault.
Hold on. Yep. Correct. Okay.
Bring them onto the floor. We have a 60-second timeout. White coach.
Well, that was kinda
30-second
old.
timeout.
Yeah, that's old.
White coach.
Yeah. So 30-second, it's not thumbs down. It's here. And then a full timeout is fists out. And I'll back up in a second, but we'll go over that.
If we are
Actually, hands out, not fists out.
Sorry, excuse me, hands out.
no score. We have basket interference.
So I want
the
to
basket.
go to,
Touchdown. Richard Wade handed a 4-point field
so
goal
3-point
attempt.
shot. As you notice, it's 3. He has a 3 out.
Handed a 45. Shot is made. touchdown.
So he starts with the 3 for the 3-point attempt. If it's good, then we're going with the up with the 2. Not 2 3s up. We're marking and then we're counting.
3 points.
And not just an arm up either. You know, you see like in the pros in college, people will just stick their arm up. This is the 3 fingers up with your arm at a 45 degree.
Yep.
Does it matter which hand you use? In baseball, we have specific hands we're supposed to use. And I've seen him switch with his arm up, both arms. So does it not matter?
So for beginning level, it doesn't matter. I'm going to say that. As you go down the road, it does matter. And, you know, they'll like to say outside hand, the outside. The only reason they say that is because then it doesn't block your view. Because if I put this hand in, it doesn't block my view if my shooter's there. Does that make sense, Paul? So let's just get a hand up first. But yeah, it will down the road as you progress into the varsity levels and get into the school games of what arm. You just want to be able to make sure you see your shooter go up and down, and whatever arm is appropriate.
When the teams have reached the bonus situation, which is 17 fouls, the 17th foul, we come out, foul, hold, 1 and 1.
So we're gonna get more into
We
foul
have a
calls,
lane
but just so you guys
violation
are
during a
seeing
free
it.
throw, and it's on the deep end, travel,
And,
traveling. Stop the clock, travel.
also on that travel, so notice that Bob's not doing the travel up here. Bob's not doing the travel down here. Bob's doing it chest high right there,
We have an
right?
illegal clock, travel. We have an illegal dribble, violation, illegal dribble.
I'll tell Bob that one's a little sloppy mechanic. Let's keep it a little bit more and no illegal dribble like this. I'm gonna give him crap for that one.
And back or palming, it is the same signal. Stop clock. Hand rotates like it's palming. 3-second violations, 3 fingers towards the key, 3 seconds.
So what's one thing he forgot on that mechanic when he just showed us 3 seconds?
Raise his arm.
There you go, Paul. He didn't raise his hand. We're boop, it's a violation. So we got a flat hand up, 3 in the key, white ball, right? Awesome.
Direction. When we have a 5-second violation, stop the clock, 5 seconds, direction. We're coming up in a 10-second violation, both hands, 10, direction. If we have a designated spot, point to
Okay, here's the elbow.
excessive swinging of elbows. Kicking. Hand up. Kick. Illegal use of hands. Foul. Hand.
That looks like a hole to me.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that too. So there are different mechanics in here.
I actually watched this video earlier today. Just, I don't know. It was funny. It was the same one, but he has like that same holding thing for like 3 different things.
So yeah, so you'll see in high school, like an illegal use of hands for a hit, people do this. In the book, I think it actually looks like that. Stacy, are there any other iterations of illegal?
No, that's by the book, you're supposed to have an open hand and that's a hit. I know the book says illegal use of hands, but when I do my training, I always say, try to use a single syllable if you can. So I would just put my hand up with the open hand and then call hit. Or
Okay.
excuse me, with a closed fist and call hit.
Yeah, and like Stacey said, so every verbiage, you should try and use everything out of the book. The one thing, illegal use of hands, you're not really going to hear any official say illegal use of hands. That's the one you can stray away from on the hit.
Okay, hand check. Hand check. Holding.
Yeah, that's a hold.
There he got the hold. He used it twice.
Blocking.
So look again how he's doing. Blocking is, like Stacy said, an open hand, no college fist. I know we see this in the NBA a lot and college as well, but in high school, it's 2 open hands on your hips.
Pushing. Charging.
So this is one that is NFHS in the book. A charge is actually behind the head, but because WOA, our mechanics manual, we no longer have to put the arm behind the head. You can just give a punch for an offensive foul. But I know in the NFHS rule book, it says this is a team control foul, but in WOA in Washington, we use this for an offensive foul and team control foul. Questions about that?
Team control foul.
Like he does, the punch right there.
Intentional foul. Double foul.
There you go.
There you go, Bob. Oh, and we're ending. So,
Jillian, can we go back to the illegal use of hands or hit real quick? Only because I think in both the mechanics manual and the NFHS manual, it has like both fists closed, unless I'm missing something.
yeah, we won't go to this one. We'll look at, and I pulled those for NFHS, but we'll go to that, Lisa, because
Okay.
the video Bob did is a little older, so
Yeah.
we'll go out of that.
If charging is the punch in the air, then what is the team foul or team control?
Same thing.
Oh, okay.
Yep, you can use them. You can use, oh, sorry. Hold on.
Just make sure when you call, like those block charge situations where they're really emotional and you're either going to have a block or a charge, that you put your fist up first. You watch when you're watching on TV, they just come out and like get all theatrical and punch, and there's no fist up. We need to get a fist up before every foul call.
Good point. 1 sec, sorry guys.
And Lisa, you're right. In the Washington Federation book, it's the hit or illegal use of hands. Both hands are in fists. So that is how we should be doing it.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you for looking that up.
Good
So
catch.
again, after the whistle, we have one of 3 things. After we blow the whistle, we either have an open hand to stop the clock for a violation, or we have a fist for a foul, or we go straight to the jump ball for the other one. So that is what we're going to do after every single whistle. So violations, you guys, again, these are in the WOA handbook. Those are the ones I would look at, not the rules book, because again, Washington has different ones. The delayed lane violation, the traveling, illegal dribble, right? You have all these that you can use. And then Washington, I didn't put this one, but Washington WA does have an arm bar mechanic that you can use as well. And that was
Very front of the mechanics manual, pages like 15 to 20 or somewhere in that ballpark.
Yep. Thank you. So calling a violation, who wants to volunteer? How we're going to call a violation and what are the things we're going to do? After you blow a whistle, anyone volunteer?
Hand up, open palm.
Okay, hand up. We're stopping the clock. Awesome, Paul. Who's got next?
I got you next.
What do you got?
Jump ball.
Perfect. Well, yep, we could have a jump ball, but whatever violation we're calling, right? We're going to call a violation, whatever that is. A jump ball is 1. That's perfect. And who is that? Sorry, Stacey, can you keep track of who's talking?
Yeah, that was Oren again. So Paul and Oren are the only ones talking, but I know there's a lot of people on here and we might have to start calling names if we have no participation. So jump in.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Paul and Oren. What's the last thing we're gonna do after we call the violation?
Direction.
Direction. There we go, Connor. Awesome. So we're gonna do direction or point where it's coming in for our partners, right? So boop, stopping the clock, travel, right? White ball, and then point to the spot, right?
Are we going to talk about how to know where to put the ball, or no, on a violation, I guess you're pointing which way it's going, but like when you're throw in, when they're going to throw the ball in, how do we know where it's supposed to be? Because
We'll get there.
sometimes you throw in under the basket, sometimes it's on the side.
Yeah, I don't have that in this presentation, but
Okay, so that's something later.
yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay, that's
Yeah,
fine then.
she's got it, but for short sake, it's gonna be the closest. There's a diagram on the court, but designated.
Okay.
I'm,
No,
I'm looking for the diagram. So go ahead, Jillian.
but it's fine if they're going to talk about it later.
Yeah, she'll look for, there's a diagram. I just didn't include it. So again, whistle, open hand, violation, color, we're announcing it, white, direction, and point. So fouls. Now we're getting to foul calls because there's two parts of when we call fouls. And in two-person, I forgot to write this, but in two-person, oh, I did. You switch on every foul. So the basics when we call a foul is I always say, don't leave the players too soon, especially if we have a big foul or, there's a lot of contact. Let's just blow our whistle with our fist up and just wait a tick, right? We're going to wait till the situation calms down or the players split, and then we can do the next steps of that. But when we get to the table, we don't want to walk through the players. We want to make sure our partner has their eyes on the players. We don't want to walk through them. Then we're going to walk around them to the table, and we are going to hustle to the reporting box. So this diagram is not to shape, to size. It's kind of weird, but it goes from the 3-point line to like the volleyball line. And so you have this huge reporting box. You'll see someone go to the same spot every time. You don't need to. You can go anywhere in this. And the reason I say that is because if you have a controversial call and the coach is right here, you probably don't want to go right next to the coach. Don't put yourself in that situation just because you think you have to go in front of the scorebook. So again, you can report anywhere in this box, okay? And then when we're reporting and when I go through what we're reporting, we want to make sure we stand still. We're not walking and talking. NBA, college, they walk and talk and do their thing. But in high school, we stand still and we do our reporting. And then make sure, and I had a problem with this when I was up and coming, is keeping eye contact with the bookkeeper and the table the whole way through. You do all your reporting as I go through. I would often leave and just like, oh, 2 shots and kind of turn, but we just need to make sure that the bookkeeper is keeping sure too. And when you get to these games, sometimes they're younger kids keeping fouls and they're on their phones because that's kind of the life we live in now. So you need to make sure that they're paying attention so we don't have to repeat it 8 times. So questions? Okay.
Hey, Jill,
Mhm.
the last bullet point on switching on all fouls. First off, let's explain a little bit what we mean by switching.
Mhm.
And then you actually don't switch on if you're a trail official and you're reporting to the table and you're shooting free throws. But
on 2-person, did that just change?
No, it's been like that for a bit.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
it hasn't changed. But talk a little bit about what switching means, because that's
So switching in 2-person, right? We're gonna have someone in trail right here, and then we're gonna have someone in lead right here. And if I'm in lead and we're gonna shoot free throws and switch, then sorry. Here we go, sorry. And if I call a foul here, I'm gonna switch with my partner here, and my partner that was trail here, they're gonna come down and switch and take my place. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah, it's a little hard right now because we haven't even talked about lead and trail positioning, but just kind of keep that in your brain. So when we get to the next mechanics presentation, it'll make a little bit more sense.
So you're saying when the lead calls it, they're going to the table to give the signal.
Yep,
That's when you would drop down below.
Yep.
And now so obviously you must have to keep the floor in play.
Yep.
So do you go outside on your diagram where the red box is on the sidelines, would you go straight down to the end line, or would you go around the free throw line to that side?
Yeah, like Stacy said, she'll get into that more, but you're
Okay.
gonna go wherever the players dictate, right? I mean, if there's all 10 players are right down here, I mean, you could go straight shot to here, right? Or if you wanted to go around, it really depends kind of where the players are, and they kind of dictate it. It's kind of like the sea, they spread and usually give you. But the most important part is you, as the not calling official, want to make sure you have eyes on all 10 players, because your partner is going to report at the table and doing things and not watching the players, right? So if there was a hard foul, we want to make sure that the player doesn't get mad and retaliate. So that's the important part for the off official, is just to keep an eye on all those players, and that's your duty till your partner turns around. Good question. So again, yeah, closed fist on the legal use of hands, but here are those. But like Stacy said in page 15 or 16, the beginning of the WOA, that's where all the Washington approved mechanics are. So I would refer to that one. So, okay, anyone but Paul, I know, can speak, Connor can speak, but after we blow our whistle, what are we doing when we call a foul on the spot?
Stick your hand straight up with your palm open, right?
Open or?
And then you do it
Fist closed.
Okay, so only one. So we're gonna have a closed fist when we're calling a foul. Open is only if we call that violation. So since we're gonna call a foul, it's gonna be boop with the whistle, closed fist goes up, right? Then what's next at the spot?
The type of foul.
Type of foul, awesome. So hold, we're gonna have a hold. And then what's next?
Direction.
Direction, or we're gonna do consequence, because since it's a foul, Rowan, that was great. Since it's a foul, we're either gonna take the ball out of bounds, or they're gonna be shooting 2, or if we're in bonus, we're gonna be shooting 1 and 1, right? So we're doing this all at the spot. So when we call foul, it's gonna be boop, foul, right? White foul, hold, 2 shots. And then we're gonna go report to the table, okay? So whistle, color, foul, consequence at the spot of the foul.
You forgot the number, Jim.
Number,
Oh, sorry. Number.
color
whistle
number,
color,
color number foul.
boop, white 23, but we don't have to do it. We just verbalize it. It's going to be foul, closed fist, white 23, hold, 2 shots. Okay.
So yeah, if you can remember, color, number, foul, consequence. Every foul, color, number, foul, consequence.
Which I just put in the chat room.
Thank you, Steve.
Perfect. And I'll update that.
Wait, so did I hear that right? We don't like demonstrate their jersey numbers?
Nope, only we're gonna get that at the table, but this is just calling on the spot, Connor. So
Okay.
foul, white 23, hold, 2 shots. So all that we're demonstrating is the stopping the clock, what kind of foul it was, a hold, a push, right? A block, and then what the consequences, 2 shots, 1 and 1, or the ball out of bounds.
Did the whistle and the hand motion be this at the same time?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, just,
Yep, kind of same thing. Boop. They just kind of go up at the same time.
yeah, okay.
You'll get that rhythm. So now we're gonna go report to the table. So we just made that call. Now our partner knows we're gonna be shooting because I told him we're gonna shoot 2. So now I'm gonna go switch to the table and get to the reporting area. And if you guys are the table, we're gonna report. And Connor, you were getting into this, so that was perfect. We're gonna represent the number. And again, we're gonna read, I'm gonna do this, 23. Because how you read, so it's going to be, but my camera's the wrong way. Our right hand's always going to be the first number and our left hand's going to be the other number because people read left to right. So when we're going to the table, white 23, hold 2 shots. And again, because I'm looking at the bookkeeper the whole time to make sure that they know what number I'm saying and I'm verbalizing it and giving it. So again, we walk to the table, find our spot, get set, white 23, hold 2 shots at the
It's
table.
exactly the same as what at the spot, except you visualize the number when you say it. So you basically, you do the same thing twice.
Yep.
And there's no numbers over 5, correct, in anything we'll call?
Theoretically.
AAUs, there's going to be a lot of weird numbers, honestly. They have 37s and stuff. So just do your best. But yeah, in school ball games, there's no number out over 5 because that's illegal, right? But in AAU, you're going to get 7 and you're going to get weird numbers.
So if it's over 5, would you just like add it up on that same hand?
I mean, like, again, AAU, if it was 7, I would probably just do this, but
Well,
you're
what
not,
would you do if
like-
it was 37? Like,
yeah, I mean, you could do 37, like,
okay.
you can do whatever.
Connor, don't sweat this one though, right? So, the rule book says no numbers over 5. So, in terms of learning proper mechanics and whatnot, you'll shortcut some stuff doing rec ball, right? You just have to. But you should learn what you need to do correctly doing school ball or rules, ball that's being run with the National Federation rules. And then you kind of wing it a bit when you end up in those situations. I mean, you go to the table and you sit there and you say it's 37. If you're doing 3 and then 7 just to kind of help the scorekeeper out, that's fine.
Yep. Awesome.
There were several times when I was still doing like AAU with all the crazy numbers that like I'd get all twisted around trying to pull up the right number of fingers and stuff. So finally I would just say, okay, white 88 without using my fingers.
Right, exactly.
Exactly. So, and then the last thing I'm going to say when we're reporting at the table and kind of what I alluded to when we watched that video of Bob is like, as you can see with my camera, we kind of just have this frame. We kind of want to make sure our numbers are in that frame and our signals are in that frame. It's so the bookkeeper only has to look at one spot, right? If we're doing our numbers down here and then we're doing here and we're doing 2 shots over here, it's just a lot to look at, right? And the presentation, again, looks a lot better if we're fitting this great Zoom window I'm in, is just white 23, push, 2 shots. So it's all within this window. We want to keep it. So that's the one good thing about COVID, I guess, guys, is we can help with that. Let's keep it in the frame. So now we're going to kind of get into breakout groups, and you guys are going to have a leader in your group, and we're just going to practice calling violations and fouls and kind of give you guys some feedback on that.
Okay, so I got to get this set up real quick. If anybody has any questions, feel free to ask Jillian. And I think we have 5 of us. And let me see. Connor, Jillian. I just want to make sure there's a staff person in each room.
Yep. And maybe at the beginning, for everyone, the staff members, let's just give them a number and the foul or violation you want them to call.
Okay. Just remember, everything's color, number, foul, violation, or excuse me, consequence. Color, number, foul, consequence for fouls, and for violations, it's whatever the violation is and the direction we're going to go and where the inbound spot is.
Yep.
Okay. I think we're good. I'm going to be joining breakout room 4 if I figure out how to do that, but the other ones all have a staff person in them. So we'll do this for about 15 minutes and then we'll come back to the group.
Perfect.
So here we go.
Have fun.
Okay, we're still waiting for people. Slowly but surely. Good work, Jillian.
Slowly but surely. Thanks. How'd everybody, well, as people are coming back, how was your group, Stacy?
They were awesome. They were very quick learners.
Steve's laughing, so that means they didn't yell at him too bad. So that's good.
What
Lucas
what a goofy way to learn how to referee. But it is what it is.
Okay, I think, do we have everybody? I thought we had a few more people than this.
I think we have a few more.
Who's from room 1? Okay, so you're room 1, room 2? Who was 2? Obviously, people that aren't here yet. Connor, were you in?
2? Oh, sorry, we were 2. I thought we were 3. Good thing
was
I got
me.
a good
I
group.
don't remember our number, but
I think Mike Weisner is still out there somewhere.
Okay. Well,
No,
yeah.
he's here. He's here.
My connection's kind of in and out, so.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
here.
Okay, so we've got.
We were
Lisa.
group 5.
Okay, so we have everybody here, but apparently some people, some of the trainees jumped off.
I don't see my group back.
They might have left.
Hang on, I got to get to the next page. Maybe they're on the next page. There they are. Oh, there's Jordan and Ava's on. So no, they didn't all leave.
Okay.
They're on.
All right.
So
So
anyway, I was telling my group to practice in front of a mirror. I think you guys might have said the same thing, but when you can see yourself, you'll be able to see what signals look strong and weak and sloppy and not. So, and if you think you have it down, but you're not sure that it's good, then when we get on next time, get on a little bit early and you can show one of us what your signals, what a problem signal might be, and we can help you out with it. Okay.
yeah,
This is a really, like Steve said, this is a really hard way to teach people, but we're going to do what we can during this COVID stuff. Okay. So
and-
go ahead, Jill.
I was gonna say, last thing I was gonna say is, does anyone want to volunteer for a prize to show the class how good their mechanics are? They can make up the foul and the number. I'm not saying anything, Connor and Jalen, but this would be now the time to shine. Anyone want to volunteer?
What's the prize?
Well, it's a secret, Steve. Come on, you're not included.
Oh,
No one wants to see their sharp
right.
signals.
Got you.
Oh, Zane, is your hand raised?
Nobody.
Show him, Zane.
I got you.
What?
I think
Oh, yeah.
Do you want to show us your signal? Oh, here we go.
Sure. What signal should I do?
Why don't you do a hold on white 11? 2
Okay.
shots.
All right. Beep. White 11. Hold. 2 shots.
Okay, now go to the table. That was great. Okay, now that was great. Who wants to go to the table and report it? One more volunteer.
Emma.
Zane
Come
was
on, Emma.
going-
Emma's volunteering.
Okay, Emma.
We didn't really do the table stuff, so I'm gonna cut her some slack.
Oh, okay. Emma, let's see it.
Emma, it's all the same except when you say the number, you have to do it with your hands.
And Jill cut you a break because she said 11, so you don't have to figure out which finger is right for the 10s and the 1s.
That's why I did it.
Okay, here we go.
Hold white, or no, it would be beep, white 11, hold.
And then what do they get after? There we go. So
Okay,
again,
just remember at the table, you don't have to put your fist up because you've already called the foul. So at the table, you just do color, number, foul, consequence, okay?
but we blame that on your instructor because apparently she didn't go over that. So you're let off the hook. Stacy's not.
Yes, ma'am.
No, good job, everybody. Thank you so much for participating. Like Stacy said, and Steve said, this is a really hard way to learn mechanics and signals, but you guys did awesome. And I appreciate you guys being on.
Okay, and one last thing. So next Tuesday, we're going to have our second rules session. And at the start of that lesson, we're going to go over the quizzes for rules 1, 2, and 4. So make sure that you fill those out. I will know who fills them out and who doesn't fill them out. And you have to fill them all out before you pass the training. So fill them out as best you can, and we'll go over the problem questions, and then we'll head into the next part of the rules stuff next week.
And
So
Jill,
no-
Jill, whatever you're giving out as a prize, Dan is owed one because he found the first error in the quiz answers.
Okay. Dan?
Dan Maloney, right?
Mhm.
So there are no quizzes due for this next class if you've done 1, 2, and 4.
Correct. If you've already done them, that's what's due on Tuesday. So
All
you're
right.
ahead.
Yes, thank you.
You got everything you need, JQ? Okay. All right, you guys, thanks so much. We'll see you on Tuesday. And the videos of this session and the last 2 sessions are posted at, well, this session, not quite. The last 2 are posted online. They're working, I hope. If you have any problems with them, please let me know. Otherwise, have a good night.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Guys.
Thanks, guys.
Go Hawks.
Thank you.
23,